Minecart, and welcome back to another video where today we are going to do a bunch of gameplay. So right now I need to...
Like a patriot, one track sight without source. I buried the Christ corpse in my past life when the Black Knight mounted the white horse. And stay on the word. It's like the Nazis and the nation collaborating, attempting to take over the earth. This is what happens when bad.
Okay, so how you guys doing today? Let me get face cam on here. There we go. So yeah, sort of out there kinds of people. Oh, they had TDMs on it. They had TDMs. Tired. Dang, yes.
No one's coming from over there because there's still
$10, $9.99, $10, $5, $19.99.
So to grab a little bit more wood, because we are going to have to go across these giant mountains. Let's see what's popping, shall we? And if I go quiet at any point, it's because I am trying to listen. Wait, someone's been here. Because the doors are open. The question is, are they still around? If they are, I want to have words with them. What is going on over there? I don't know why it's lagging, by the way, guys. I have no idea. It's been super strange. Oh my goodness, that's so annoying.
Trying to look for a...
We get in a fight and it does that, we are so done. Something big went down here.
Stream! Stream.
Okay, there's someone down there.
Come on, there's no damn stream. Ooh, 5 watching. I could get some views from this.
Watch hours because they come and watch.
Okay.
Nah, we gotta get 4,000 watch hours and 4,000 subs. Hey, what the frick? I never showed that, man. That's sex.
I mean, did you try any partnerships? Did you sign up for partnerships? Like, I'm partnered with Freedom.
What is that?
Freedom Gaming. It's a partnership. Search up Freedom Gaming, and they basically put ads on your videos and stuff.
So how are you guys doing today? Comment in the chat.
They help you get paid more money.
How are you doing?
They help add more ads, and then
Hope everyone doing okay?
you'll like. I'm not trying to say it. They'll put ads on your videos, but they do take a percentage out. So you like invest when you have a lot of.
It's just like
you get the
YouTube, we taking all your donations. They take 40% of it.
James the Savage. Say 9 in the chat if you're in, guys. I don't like this video at all. Okay, so it's just gonna be a face staring down. Stupid. Seven's a good amount. Stream.
Right now. You know, I'm trying to grind into that. I'm trying to grind, you guys. I'm trying to grind. 3,800 coming real quick, bro. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be doing this, so. I mean.
Free shoutouts! Holy shit! Age Alpha TV. If this works, guys. No, not like that. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be doing this. Seriously. I'm gonna take it from that guy. Come on, dang. Okay, I'll subscribe. Better say she got a sub. Does it say she got a sub? It doesn't say you got a sub! Come on! This is why people don't sub me. The damn. Oh, there it is. Dang, things don't work sometimes. What the hell? Live channel. What? He just stopped? And then the whole time, he didn't even give anyone a shout out. That's stupid. I'm unsubscribing. Fuck you. Like, seriously, that's stupid, man. What the fuck? Connect one. Got the pin. I win. Holy crap, that is epic as shit. Man, that's epic. Fortnite wins against Battlegrounds. Oh, shoot. What happens if you lose the race against Jimmy? Like, Jimmy, oh yeah, fudge you. Voices with Jacksepticeye. Oh. He's caught cheating. Oh. Poor thing. Poor baby. Underpants man? What the frick? Damn, he looks burnt out. Lego Hawk Prison Break. Dang, it's my feet. Ugh. 1 kill equals 5 skins for my 5-year-old little brother. Jeffy's paper shredder. Moo! 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 Ten people you won't believe exist. You don't look that short. He's taller than me. No, actually he's not. Got 60 seconds to live. Top 10 things that will happen when PewDiePie dies. With the bombing of the town. I remember him.
Hey, how's it going, YouTube and PewDiePie fan? I'm Landon Dowsing, and welcome back to another most amazing top 10 video. So we all know YouTube has been around for about 13 years now, and since then, there has been hundreds, if not thousands of YouTubers who have become idolized and has influenced millions of people. Well, we're going to be talking about one particular YouTuber who has influenced millions of people, and without this individual, YouTube would be a completely different platform. So this is the top 10 things that will happen when PewDiePie dies. A little bit morbid, but let's go with this one. And tell me in the comment section below, what do you guys think will happen if PewDiePie dies? And also, what do you think about PewDiePie? So starting off, number 10, if PewDiePie passes away, Big Ben will blow up. Okay, all jokes aside, that is just a quick joke because PewDiePie watched one of our videos and he found that to be funny. We did top 10 things that would happen if Queen Elizabeth passes away, and in our thumbnail, we have Big Ben blowing up. But I don't think Big Ben would blow up if PewDiePie dies, so let's get serious with this one. Starting us off with the real number 10. PewDiePie is personally one of my favorite YouTubers of all time, and I've become a bro for a while now. He has done so much with this platform, and he's racked up over 60 million views. The first thing that will happen if PewDiePie passes away is there will be millions of tribute videos made. PewDiePie's death can't go unnoticed. He has been the most subscribed YouTuber since 2013. You can't ignore that. That is over 5 years of being the best on top of the game. So channels like Drama Alert, Philip DeFranco, Scarce, and even here on Most Amazing Top 10, we would dedicate a whole video towards PewDiePie. I believe YouTube would also make a featured video that will appear on the homepage that would be dedicated to highlighting the life of PewDiePie and everything he has accomplished. And that video would be a pretty long video. Number 9, even though PewDiePie is gone forever, he will still be the most subscribed person and probably be the most subscribed for the next few years. The next person, or I should say channel in line to be YouTube's most subscribed, is a channel called T-Series. I actually hate when companies become more subscribed than individual YouTubers. This is why PewDiePie can't die. Because T-Series would become the most subscribed channel. The channel is owned by an Indian music label that has over 32 billion views and is gaining 100,000 subscribers a day, which is just insane. I don't actually understand this channel or where the views are coming from because a lot of their videos struggle to just get 100,000 views on it. Moving in to number 8, because of how popular PewDiePie has become, the mainstream media will also be talking about PewDiePie. Many of the news outlets might actually shed some positive light for once on PewDiePie because we all know how brutal the mainstream media has become towards PewDiePie. I don't think it's about like his character per se. I think it's the mainstream media is using anything against the YouTube because we are their biggest competition. And who is the best fall guy? Well, then the king of YouTube himself, PewDiePie. I hope this would bring the media into actually looking into how charismatic and great of a guy PewDiePie really is, and finally start to accept YouTube as a mainstream outlet. Number 7, PewDiePie passing away might actually destroy YouTube because PewDiePie has become a huge voice for us smaller YouTube creators. PewDiePie has always fought for us to become successful on this platform, and with him gone, I believe YouTube will become more of like a corporate thing, and it's sort of already starting. The only YouTuber who is able to be on top of all the corporate channels and all the Vivo accounts is PewDiePie. Once he passes away, I don't think there will ever be an original content creator on top of the platform ever again, and that will change YouTube forever. Alright, number 6, there will be millions of people thinking his death is a hoax. Death hoaxes are very popular on the internet, especially on YouTube. People still believe Elvis Presley and even Michael Jackson are still alive. People are just in disbelief that their idols are dead. I think the same thing will happen to PewDiePie. People won't believe that he's actually dead. Instead, they'll think that he's just taking a break from YouTube. I took a look on Reddit for this next one to see what people on there were saying. So at number 5, a lot of people believe that PewDiePie imitators would spring up uncontrollably. There would be thousands of channels just like PewDiePie. I already think PewDiePie inspired thousands, if not millions of people to try to become him in one way or another, to become the next PewDiePie. I think it would be very hard to become that. I personally think this wouldn't happen. One thing that might try to intimidate is more bro fists. I hope that lives on forever. So YouTube would secretly be saddened and happy about his loss. And this comes into number 4. YouTube makes a ton of money from YouTubers. The last time I checked, YouTube takes about 45% of ad revenue from us content creators. So if PewDiePie makes about 10 to 15 million a year, let's say, that's about $8 to $13 million a year that YouTube would be losing because PewDiePie won't be making content anymore. On the other side of things, YouTube would secretly be happy because PewDiePie was a huge voice for us and he always brought up concerns, even if they were against YouTube. A lot of these concerns pressured YouTube to do a lot of things for content creators. Without the big voice, that's one less thing YouTube has to worry about, one less person, and they're probably thinking that without PewDiePie, we would have a cleaner platform. I totally disagree with that. Number 3, let's talk about his funeral. There is a chance that his funeral would be live streamed, and this stream would be the most viewed video of all time. How can you not watch this sad video and reflect on everything the king of YouTube has done? all the success and all of his accomplishments. There would be millions in tears watching PewDiePie getting buried. It would be a very sad day. I believe even mainstream media would cover this story because this would be their last chance to make more money from PewDiePie. They already blasted his name all over media sources to try to gain attention by using his name. Number 2, there might be a chance that maybe, just maybe, his girlfriend or someone else would take over his channel. PewDiePie might have a will, and stated in his will might be somebody that he wants to own his channel to take over when he passes away. I know things won't be the same, but millions of people over time will stop watching. I don't think they would unsubscribe, but because he has millions of fans, people would want to know what's next on this channel, so fans would tune in for a little bit. Finally, at number 1, there is a chance that YouTube would delete his account. This is a little far-fetched, or at least delete a lot of his videos. PewDiePie often in his videos, he addresses the issue of YouTube trying to kill his channel, and PewDiePie shared with his audience analytics that prove this. And PewDiePie isn't often on the homepage anymore, and sometimes I don't even see him in my subscription feeds. Without PewDiePie trying to defend himself, to defend his own channel, no one would really be stopping YouTube from getting rid of his channel. YouTube would for sure wait until, his video dies out, which could be in a couple years, when they stop gaining views, and then they would take down his channel, because, they probably still want to make money off of him, because remember, they take 45%, whether you're alive or dead. His channel has caused a lot of controversy in the past. I personally think his jokes were taken way out of proportion. PewDiePie is not a racist, but it's what the mainstream media has done to him that might have his channel deleted forever when he passes away. Well, there you guys have it. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, PewDiePie, if you watched this video. Let me know your guys' thoughts about this guy in the comment section below.
Most amazing channel on the internet. I'm your most amazing host, Rebecca Felgate, and I noticed that you guys loved our video about the top 10 things that would happen when the Queen of England dies. Of course, this is something that nobody wants to happen soon, but again, of course, she's getting older and it's interesting to know what plans are in place. As a result of the success of that video, we thought that we would bring you a top 10 on what would happen if and when Donald Trump dies. Now, you've got to bear in mind that the chain of reaction would vary dramatically depending on whether or not he was in office when this happens. Now, this has been the case for 8 other presidents in the past, so it's not beyond the realm of possibility. First off, let's talk about a few things unrelated to this powerful man's presidency. Coming in at number 10, we have the Trump Organization will be passed on to a new owner. Donald Trump ran the Trump Organization from 1971 to 2017. Prior to his presidency, he was first and foremost known for his business holdings. When he became president, he delegated power to his 2 oldest sons, Donald Trump Jr. and Eric Trump. He also gave power to his longtime CFO, Alan Weisselberg. If Donald Trump died during his presidency, the company is currently set up to run without him. However, he is still the business owner. If Trump died sometime after his presidency finished, then there may need to be some restructuring. Whatever happens, the company is likely to be kept in the family and taken over by his sons and their children thereafter. Coming in at number 9, the will would need to be organized. Alongside the Trump Organization, which includes hotels, skate rinks, golf courses, and a winery, Donald Trump is the owner of many saleable assets. His net worth is an estimated $3.1 billion as of February 2018. Now, this makes him one of the richest businessmen alive. As and when Donald Trump dies, those named in his will, so presumably his children and his wife, are set to inherit a fortune. So next we're going to talk about a few things that would happen if he died in office, which hopefully won't happen because that would be very disruptive for the United States. Coming into number 8, we have a theoretical post-assassination scenario. If the president was assassinated after officially being declared dead, his body would be flown in Air Force One to Washington for an official autopsy. This caused chaos during President Kennedy's death because at the time, Texas state law demanded that the autopsy be performed in the state of death. Meanwhile, if the perpetrator wasn't captured, there would be a nationwide manhunt as they were brought to justice. As a result of assassination, Trump would become the 5th sitting president to be murdered while in office, which really isn't a title that anybody wants. If Trump was assassinated, at number 7, government officials would be transferred to high-security facilities for the time being. As chaos ensued, senior government officials, so basically the leader of Congress, the Supreme Court, and the cabinet, would be transported to local secure government facilities. Vice President Mike Pence would be moved to a secret location where he would be able to make his next steps, which brings me to the next point. If Trump died whilst in office, number 6 would need to happen immediately, and that is a new president would be
sworn in. Mike Pence would immediately be called on to take up the presidency, as is customary when presidents in office die. When JFK was assassinated, Lyndon B. Johnson was sworn in just 2 hours and 8 minutes after the death of the 35th president. Again, regardless of whether or not President Trump was assassinated, if he died in office, number 5 would happen. That is, the United States would observe national mourning. Flags would be flown at half-mast around the country, and beyond that, United States flags would be flown at half-mast wherever they were flown in the world. In the 1800s, the White House was draped in black fabric to mark the death of President Garfield. While this hasn't happened in a long time, it would not be beyond the realm of possibility. The scale of our next point would totally depend on the circumstances surrounding the death of Donald Trump and whether or not he was in office, or indeed how soon after his presidency ended that he died. But at number 4, we have the news would make international headlines. If the president was assassinated in the modern day, it would cause an absolute internet meltdown. All news outlets and social media users would be rushing to share the news. An American presidential death is among one of the most dramatic and politically impactful events that can happen, so all news sources would cover the events for days. If Trump died outside of office, it would still make headlines, but the story may not be, for want of a better journalistic term, as juicy. Trump is already in his 70s, so his death is statistically likely to come within the next 1 or 2 decades, which is recent enough to make his presidency memorable in people's minds when he passes on. It also will be really interesting to see how different news outlets report on his death. Next up, regardless of how or when Trump dies, it is likely that he will be buried. Coming in at number 3, we have details of a state funeral. All former presidents, the current president and the president-elect are entitled to a state funeral if they so wish, but it is up to the discretion of the family of the deceased. Knowing that President Trump enjoys a bit of fanfare, I can only assume that he would decide in advance that he would like a full state funeral, in which case he may lay in state at the Capitol Rotunda. His funeral day would likely involve a procession down Pennsylvania Avenue, with a funeral car travelling at no more than 20 miles per hour. The event would likely be televised too, and heads of state from countries around the world would attend. Coming into number 2, we have further details of his burial. Following Donald Trump's funeral, there is the question as to where he would like to be buried. 2 former presidents are buried at Arlington National Cemetery in Virginia, and a further 2 at the Hollywood Cemetery in Virginia. In fact, the majority of former presidents are buried in the state of Virginia, which seems like a weird coincidence. However, it seems that Donald Trump has set his sights on a burial plot near one of his golf courses in New Jersey. Finally, at number 1 of the top 10 things that will happen when Donald Trump dies, he will become a chapter in history. For better or for worse, Donald Trump has played a vital role in history. His significance will only be truly known in hindsight. Trump's death date will be an important date for the history books that American students will learn for decades or more to come. So guys, there we have it. That was the top 10 things that will happen when Donald Trump dies. Obviously, it is a lot less clear-cut than the things that will happen when Queen Elizabeth dies, because she's always in office until her dying day. I hope you guys found this list interesting. Let me know if I've missed anything out, and also let me know what...
This 10-year-old won't earn any medals or win any championships, but no other athlete can do this. That's the greatest act I've ever seen. Little Big Shots is back with bigger talent, cuter kids,
Hungry.
and Steve is stevier. Do you have a girlfriend?
Yes, she works at Walmart.
Big Shots with Steve Harvey premieres Sunday on NBC. There you are. Welcome back to Most Amazing Top 10. I hope you're having a nice day so far. I hope you're ready for a new Most Amazing Top 10 video. My name is Danny Berg, and today we're going to be talking to you guys about the top 10 laws you don't know you're breaking. Now, some of these won't be technically illegal where you're watching this from, but the things I'm about to talk about now are things that most of us do on a regular basis, and it's illegal somewhere out there in the world. So do try and avoid those places and maybe these crimes, and let's jump into this now with our number 10, which is Wi-Fi squatting. Have you guys ever been standing outside of a coffee place and connected to their Wi-Fi for just a few minutes? Or maybe you've been inside of that place and connected, maybe while your friend is buying a drink, but you didn't buy anything yourself, and you might think you're just being a little bit cheeky, but you could actually be prosecuted for that if you get caught. Don't believe me? Well, there was one case of a man in Michigan back in 2007 who did exactly this in a parked car outside of a cafe. He was actually fined $400 and sentenced to 40 hours of community service, and he got off lightly. The maximum penalty under this law is actually $10,000 and 5 years in prison. I think that's a little bit mental. Moving on now, you probably all recognize this flag. Now, do you guys have any object in your house with it on? Well, at number 9, you could be breaking the law. According to official US code, you are not allowed to wear the flag or use it as bedding and curtains, as it's disrespectful. Maybe that's a little bit outdated, but a lot of you guys probably haven't broken that law of using an actual flag like that. Well, it does go on to say that you also can't use it for advertising or putting it on cushions or handkerchiefs or napkins or anything at all that will be thrown away afterwards. Now, although police aren't likely to arrest you these days for wiping away birthday cake with an American-themed napkin, you're still technically breaking the law. Alright, at number 8 now, we have jaywalking. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with this word, jaywalking is basically crossing the road when and where you probably shouldn't, and it's illegal in almost all US states. Now, a lot of people out there seem to think that jaywalking is more of a guideline, and that if you cross the road in a place where you shouldn't, you might just a few angry beeps from cars that are passing by. But the truth is, you're probably breaking the law. Your punishment or fine will vary from place to place, but it's best to just always cross at a safe place, just in case. Alright, moving on to number 7 now. It's having a permanent marker pen in public. Yeah. Now, most of you guys will own one of these things, a permanent marker, or you might call it a Sharpie. But in some places out there, if you have one of these in public and you're under the age of 18, you could be breaking the law. Now, it all comes from anti-graffiti laws that are aimed to tackle young people vandalizing public property with aerosol sprays. But because it sometimes happens with marker pens too, they just threw those into the law as well. You actually have pens for teenagers in public, itself in prison. It all comes under an old law called This was charged with insulting Vladimir Putin. But it's nothing, absolutely nothing compared to 60 years in prison for making comments about the Thai royal family. In this day and age, many of us just make casual jokes about now. We have swearing on the phone. Now, in a number of US states, there is a law that says over the telephone it is illegal to use any kind of obscene, vulgar, profane, or indecent language to another person that you're talking to. In the US state of Virginia, this law was actually put into practice in 2014 when a man rang the office of an attorney general that he wasn't happy with. He reached the answer phone and proceeded to leave a whole message full of curse words and swearing. On where you are, it might be best to watch your tongue if you don't want a nasty run-in with the law. Alright, moving on to number 4 now. We've got writing something disturbing. Just that. Now, in some US states, if you write a horrific, violent, or just plain creepy story, you could find yourself breaking the law. Some places class this kind of writing as disorderly conduct. In Illinois, for example, if you write something that disturbs the person who's reading it, whether or not you actually published it, the maximum penalty is 30 days in jail and a whopping $1,500 fine. That means if I grew up there as a teenager, most of the stuff that I wrote would probably have got me a month in a cell. I wrote some pretty lame, teenage, angsty rubbish. Alright, coming in at number 3 now. We have betting with friends. Most of us make small bets with our friends on the outcomes of, sporting events. $10 here, $20 there, and some people might even wager thousands on these bets. Now, you guys might think that's just being irresponsible, it's not too bad, but it's technically illegal in some places. In Virginia, if you or your friend bet more than $2,000 in one day, you're classed as running an illegal gambling operation. In fact, in 2006, one man was even shot and killed by a SWAT team for doing this after betting over $2,000 on a football game. They later had to pay the victim's family $2 million because that was obviously ridiculous, but it's still a scary thought that one minute you can be considered a bit of a money risk taker looking for a thrill, no harm, it's all, just a bit of fun, and the next, you're basically Al Capone. Okay, moving on to to number 2 now. We've got snowball fights. Yes, this law comes from Aspen in Colorado with a law that states it is unlawful
What? That's stupid.
to throw stones or objects or fire guns in public or at a person in public.
I thought it was snowballs.
But they also added snowballs. You are actually breaking the law if you throw a big fat snowball at your friend in the park. It seems like this law was brought in to stop people from actually throwing solid ice at another person and then being like, oh no, it was just a snowball. But the truth is, it's pretty hard to define where a snowball ends and a big lump of ice begins. If a police officer in Aspen thinks your snowball has crossed that line, they can slap you with a fine. Now, I hope this law doesn't apply in other places out there because snowball fights are probably the only good thing about winter.
Yeah.
All right, don't take that away from us. Finally, at number 1, we have a law that some of you guys might be breaking right now as you watch this, the Google account age. If you have a YouTube account, then you will have had to agree to their terms and conditions that you are at least 13 years old. Great. If you are 13 or older, then that's fine. But if you're not and you have an account that you can comment on this video with, you're technically breaking the law. In the US, companies like YouTube and Facebook have to obey the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, which means no children under the age of 13 are allowed to sign up for websites that require personal information, just like this one. So if you're under 13, then well, I guess you can stay. I won't tell anyone, but you have to subscribe. I mean, if you want, obviously. It's completely optional, not bribing or threatening you. Or am I? No, I'm honestly not. Don't worry. Alright, thanks for watching Most Amazing Top 10. My name is Danny Berg, and I'm going to say bye now. I'm going to go on my way. But if you want to hang out with past versions of me, or Rebecca, or Landon, then do check out these videos floating over there right now. Give them a click and you can carry on. But in the meantime, I will see you guys in the next one.
Hey, what's happening, all you Most Amazing Top 10ers? Thank you guys so much for coming back. I am Landon, and this is a new Top 10 video for you guys. I know you guys have been waiting. Well, you guys probably waited a whole day because we're uploading every single day. And some days we're even uploading 2 a day. Should we go to 3? Put in the comment section below. Hashtag 1 video daily, hashtag 2 video daily, hashtag 3 videos daily. So let's get serious here. Let's get right into this because this is the top 10 crimes that shocked the world. So let's start off at number 10. We have the Cleveland kidnappers. Michelle Knight, Amanda Berry, and Gina DeZeus were held prisoners by Ariel Castro for nearly a decade. They were subsequently imprisoned in his house on Seymour Avenue from 2004 to 2013, almost 10 years. One of the 3 girls, Berry, well, she was able to escape one day, and she escaped with her 6-year-old daughter, and she contacted the police. Berry's kid belongs to Ariel Castro, and this was a result of rape. Ariel was charged on 4 counts of kidnapping, and he pleaded guilty to 937 criminal counts of rape, kidnapping, and aggravated murder as a part of a plea bargain. He was sentenced to wait 1,000 years behind bars with no chance of parole. 1 month into his sentence, Castro committed suicide by hanging himself with bed sheets in his prison cell. Alright, moving into number 9, we have the O.J. Simpson murder case that shocked the world. O.J. was tried on 2 counts of murder, one being his wife Nicole Brown, and another person was Ronald Goldman. The trial started back in 1994, and it was the most televised event on TV. Kim Kardashian's dad was O.J.'s lawyer, and during the trial, O.J. stayed at their house. O.J. kept his innocence the whole time, and a year into his trial, the jury found him not guilty, and this not guilty verdict shocked the world. But he was still charged with 12 different counts. Some of these counts were conspiracy to commit a crime, kidnapping, robbery, burglary, while in possession of a deadly weapon. O.J. was hit with the maximum sentence that he can get for these crimes of 33 years, and this is back in 2008. So he's going to be able to come out of jail when he's 94 years old. But he does have a chance of parole next year, and he's going to be 70. He is incarcerated right now at Lovelock Correctional Center, located in Nevada. Number 8, we have the kidnapping of J.C. Dugard. She was found alive after being kidnapped for 18 years. The kidnapping of J.C. Lee Dugard occurred on June 10, 1991 in South Lake Tahoe, California. She was 11 years years old at the time, and she was abducted from the streets when she was on her way to school. Searches began for her immediately, but there was no reliable sources that led to her being found. She remained missing for the next 18 years, and she was found in 2009. So the kidnapper was identified as 58-year-old Gerardo, and his wife was also involved with this whole thing. Gerardo was sentenced to 431 years behind bars, and for his wife, well, she kind of got like a slap on the back because she's only going to jail for 36 years. Okay, Michael Jackson's death totally shocked the world. I still remember this one. Do you guys remember it? Well, this comes into number 7. Michael Jackson was found dead on June 25th of 2009. I know, that's so long ago, but we still remember it as if it was yesterday. Just think about it, this is 7 years ago. The first report said that Michael Jackson had suffered a cardiac arrest. Another report said he died from acute propofol and benzodiazepine intoxication at his home on North Carolwood Drive in LA. His personal physician, Conrad Murray, said he found Michael Jackson in his room not breathing. Dr. Conrad Murray was later convicted of involuntary manslaughter after he prescribed a powerful surgical anesthetic. So he was sentenced to 4 years behind bars. He only served 2 of it. He was released early. This upset a lot of people, but he's been out of jail since 2013. Okay, and at number 6, we have a place that I recently went to. I'm talking about the Bay Area, and I'm talking about the island, I'm talking about Alcatraz. Well, and at number 6, we're talking about the Alcatraz escape. Alcatraz escape might be the only successful escape from Alcatraz Federal Penitentiary in the facility's history. On the night of June 11th, or the early morning of June 12th, Clarence England and his brother John England and Frank Morris tucked papier-mâché heads resembling their 2 heads in their own beds to trick the prison guards. They then broke out of the main prison building by going through a utility corridor. They used an improvised inflatable raft and they sailed off to their uncertain fate. Hundreds of leads were pursued by the FBI and local law enforcement, and this is after many years after the prison escape, but there's been no leads to where they are. So still today, we don't know if they've lived life or if they died at sea. Moving into number 5, we have the Casey Anthony murder trial. Casey Anthony's 2-year-old daughter was missing for 31 days. Well, one day, the police were called by Casey's mom to report something suspicious with her daughter Casey, and there was some weird smell in her car. Police found Casey's daughter Kaylee's skeleton remains in a blanket inside a trash bag in a wooded area near the family's home. Casey Anthony became the prime suspect, and chloroform was detected in Casey Anthony's car. Chloroform, for you guys who don't know, is like a knockout gas, and it smelled like a corpse was in the back of the car decomposing. There was many shocking evidence against Casey, but what shocked the world was when the verdict came in. The jury members found her not guilty, and this pissed off a lot of people. And this is where Casey Anthony's had to go into hiding for a very long time for her own protection, but now she's kind of resurfaced, and I think she even has a book out. At number 4, let's talk about the Manson family's murders of Sharon Tate. Sharon Mary Tate was born back in 1943, and she was an American actress and model. During the 60s, she played small television roles before appearing in several movies. She also appeared in regular fashion magazines as a model and a cover girl. Well, on August 8, 1969, Sharon was 2 weeks away from giving birth when she was killed by members of the Charles Manson family. There was also a young 18-year-old kid, Stephen Perrott, who was also murdered that night. Sharon was stabbed 16 times. In 1971, Charles Manson was found guilty of conspiracy to commit the murders of 7 people. And one of those people was actress Sharon Tate. Moving into number 3, the assassination of John F. Kennedy took the world by storm. He was the 35th American president at the time, and he was killed November 22nd of 1963. And this happened in Dallas, Texas. And Lee Harvey Oswald was arrested for the crime. There was a 10-month investigation by the Warren Commission. It was confirmed that Lee Oswald was the one that shot the president. He was only 24 years old at the time. I mean, is this real life right now? What the heck is going on? 2 days while being transferred from the police headquarters to the county jail, Lee was shot and mortally wounded. He later died from a gunshot wound. Lyndon Johnson became the next president, which happened the same day John F. Kennedy died. So Lyndon served as president from 1963 to 1969, where he later died 4 years after his presidency. The murder of John Lennon comes into number 2. John Lennon was an English musician who gained worldwide fame as one of the members from the Beatles. He had an amazing solo career, but on December 8, 1980, he was shot by Mark Chapman in the archway of the building where he lived in New York. After sustaining 4 major gunshot wounds, Lennon was pronounced dead on arrival at Roosevelt Hospital. He was only 40 years old at the time. Mark Chapman remained at the crime scene just reading a book, waiting for the policeman to arrive. I mean, this guy is just insane. So he was arrested. In court, his defense lawyers put forward that he was in a delusional psychotic state at the time of the murder. Now, when you go to court and you usually play the insanity card, this get a lesser sentence, saying, you weren't in the right state of mind when committing the crime, so I shouldn't be harshly punished for the crime. So he was given 20 years to life imprisonment. So far, he has served 36 years behind bars, and this is because he keeps getting denied parole. So I looked into it, and life in the States usually starts at 15 years a minimum. Well, for the maximum, there is no maximum, it's infinite. It just depends on the crime and which state you're in that you committed the crime in. So if you're ready for parole, but you still pose a threat into the community, you're not going to get released from jail, so you can be there for 100 years. Finally, we've all made it into #1 spot. So far, we had events like the Cleveland kidnapping that lasted a decade, the death of Michael Jackson, the Alcatraz prison escape. We don't know if these guys survived or if they're dead. Now, in at #1 for events that shocked us the most, well, we gotta talk about the September 11 attacks. This shocked the United States of America and the rest of the world. This was a series of 4 coordinated terrorist attacks by the Islamic terrorist group Al-Qaeda. The attacks consisted of suicide attacks used to target symbolic U.S. landmarks. In this case, we're talking about the Twin Towers. There was planes flown into the building, taking these buildings down. In this attack, 2,996 people lost their lives. 2,977 of them were victims, 19 of them was the hijackers, and there was over 6,000 non-fatal injuries. This was a tragic and shocking day. The leader behind this was Osama bin Laden. He caused $3 trillion in damages. Osama was killed 10 years later in Pakistan by the U.S. Naval Special War Force Development Group and Central Intelligence Agency. And this was on the orders of U.S. President Barack Obama. Well, there you guys have it. That's the top 10 events that shocked the world. Let me know if I've missed any, because this world is just crazy. It's nuts. If you guys want to see a part 2, in the comments below, put hashtag make a part 2, and I'll do it. Thanks so much for watching this video. It was a whole lot of fun. Hopefully you guys learned a thing or 2 or 10, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. So let me know what you guys honestly think about these videos in the comment section below. We're so close to 1 million subscribers if we haven't hit it already. Because remember, these videos are pre-filmed for you guys. We gotta get ahead because we just want to overload you guys with all these most amazing top 10 videos. So if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. If you guys didn't, no worries, because hopefully you'll like the next one. But that's it from me, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.